12 hours ago, Spain did not just beat France, they humiliated them. And in a few hours we get the second semi-final, Argentina against England. A fixture soaked in more history and hatred than almost any rivalry in world football. Maradona, the hand of God, Beckham's red card, all of it building to today in Atlanta. One final spot is already gone. The other one gets decided tonight. Let's talk about both. Spain walked into Dallas unbeaten in 36 straight matches and walked out with a spot in the World Cup final for the first time since they actually won the whole thing back in 2010. And they did not scrape this win. They dismantled the best attack in the tournament in front of the entire world. It started with a penalty that, honestly, you could see coming from a mile away. Lamine Yamal went steaming forward. The ball flicked off Lucas Digne's head, and Digne panicked, swung a leg at it without even looking, and took Yamal out through the thigh. Referee had no choice. Mikel Oyarzabal stepped up and buried it for his 5th goal of the tournament. And just like that, Spain were ahead. Now, a lot of people asked whether Yamal actually handled the ball just before Digne fouled him. Here's the rule breakdown. The cutoff point for handball is called the green zone, roughly in line with the bottom of the armpit. And if the ball hits a player at or above that line, it cannot be given as handball. In this case, the ball did strike Yamal a little lower than that, but his arm was tucked completely inside his own body line with his elbow in. And that is enough mitigation for the referee to wave play on and penalize Digne's foul instead. Correct call, whether France fans want to accept it or not. Then it got worse for France. William Saliba, their best defender, the guy who has been playing through pain for months, went down injured and had to be replaced by a kid winning only his 6th cap, and Spain smelled blood. Fight. 57 minutes in, Aymeric Laporte threaded a pass through to Dani Olmo, who strolled into space that should never have existed against a France defense. And from there, it was Pedro Porro finishing off a gorgeous team move to make it 2-0. Spain were not just winning, they were toying with France. There were actual owls ringing around the stadium in the final minutes. Do you understand how humiliating that is for the team that was supposed to have the best attack at this entire World Cup? And here is the number that says everything. France did not have a single shot on target until the 81st minute. The most feared front four in the tournament, Mbappe, Dembele, Olise, Barcola, and for over 80 minutes they created nothing. Olise, arguably the best creative player on the planet right now, kept overhitting passes that should have sent Mbappe clean through. Mbappe himself kept getting caught offside, isolated, starved of service. By the time Desire Doué scuffed a low effort straight at Unai Simon in the 81st minute, the game was already dead. Mbappe's frustration boiled over completely at full time when he was booked for a late challenge on Simon himself. And the man in the middle of everything for Spain was their captain, Rodri, the reigning Ballon d'Or winner, coming back from an ACL injury that many thought would slow him down. Instead, he delivered a masterclass. 87% pass accuracy, the most ground duels won on the pitch, the most total duels won on the pitch, joint most tackles. He was everywhere. He won the ball off Dembele's toe right before halftime, like it was nothing. This is exactly why he won the Ballon d'Or in the first place, and today he reminded everyone why. But honestly, Rodri was not the only one talking before this game. Pau Cubarsí, 20 years old, looked reporters dead in the eye before kickoff and said, "Kylian Mbappe does not scare me." Bold words from a teenager about the tournament's joint top scorer. And then he went out and backed it up completely, mocking Mbappe out of the entire match, pocketing him so thoroughly that France's talisman barely touched the ball in a dangerous position all night. Yamal got the headlines, but Cubarsí might have been the single most important player on the pitch defensively. Unai Simon barely had to work either. And that is the point. He now holds the record for the most clean sheets by a goalkeeper at a single men's World Cup. 6 of them across Cape Verde, Saudi Arabia, Uruguay, Austria, Portugal, and now France. 6 clean sheets in one tournament. That is not luck, that is a system. After the final whistle, Mbappe did not hide from the result. He said, "At the end of the day, you take all the glory when you win. When you don't win, you have to take well, you get the idea." The frustration in his voice was obvious. He said, "We did not do what it takes to reach the dream, to reach the World Cup final. We made too many technical mistakes. It was not up to the standard of a World Cup semi-final." Rayan Cherki, who came off the bench, was even more blunt. He said, "It's a big disappointment. It's not about the ref. We didn't play the football we're used to playing, while Spain did. When a reporter asked him if maybe France had it too easy earlier in the tournament and never faced real adversity, Cherki actually agreed, saying there might be a bit of truth in that. Maybe when it's too easy we think we're above the fracas, but today we lost against ourselves. Even Lionel Scaloni, getting ready for his own semi-final on the other side of the bracket, tipped his hat to Spain, saying they deserved the win today. They put on a great match, and congratulating them on reaching the final. Oh, and one more thing before we move on. Somebody dug up an old Instagram post from Pedri, made over a year ago, where he simply wrote a string of numbers, 190726. Read that as a date, July 19th, 2026. The date of the World Cup final. Spain's own player basically predicted this a year in advance, and nobody noticed until now. This result also confirms something bigger. Didier Deschamps is stepping down after 14 years in charge of France, and Zinedine Zidane has already reached an agreement to take over once the tournament wraps up. So this Spain defeat is not just a lost semi-final. It is officially the end of an era for French football. As for Mbappé, his World Cup is not actually over. He is still tied for the Golden Boot at 8 goals alongside Messi. Here's the full race as it stands right now. Mbappé 8, Messi 8, Erling Haaland 7, Jude Bellingham 6, Harry Kane 6, Ousmane Dembélé 5, Mikel Oyarzabal 5. And France now plays whoever loses tonight's second semi-final in the bronze medal match in Miami on Saturday, which means Mbappé could still pad his numbers against a heartbroken opponent, while the real final happens without him. Now let's get into tonight, because this one has been building for over 60 years. Argentina and England meeting at a World Cup for the 6th time, and this rivalry has never once been boring. 1966, Ratton sent off, refusing to leave the pitch, England's own manager calling the Argentina players animals afterward. 1986, Maradona's Hand of God, followed minutes later by arguably the greatest solo goal in World Cup history. 1998, Beckham sent off, 10-men England, somehow surviving to penalties, and losing anyway. This fixture does not do quiet, and tonight in Atlanta, Mercedes-Benz Stadium, kick-off 8 p.m. UK time, 3 p.m. Eastern, it happens again. Let's talk England first, because their entire route to this semi-final has basically been two players carrying a nation. Harry Kane and Jude Bellingham, 6 goals each, the two of them combining for 12 of England's 13 goals this entire tournament. Everyone else has scored exactly once, Marcus Rashford against Croatia, and that is it. Manager Thomas Tuchel has had to grind through some genuinely scrappy knockout games, going down early against DR Congo before Kane rescued it late, going down to 10 men against Mexico before somehow surviving, going behind against Norway before Bellingham produced a moment of individual brilliance to drag them through extra time. And now they face the actual GOAT. Messi has been on an absolute rampage this tournament, scoring in his first 5 matches, sitting as the all-time leading scorer in World Cup history, and shouldering an insane amount of Argentina's attack, 19% of their touches in the final third, a third of their chances created, a third of their shots. Everything runs through him. Stop Messi, and you have a real shot at stopping Argentina. The problem is, nobody has actually managed to stop him yet. Tuchel knows exactly what he is up against. He told reporters we will find a way to stop Leo Messi. He finds spaces, takes his chances, and the most important thing is that the whole team embraces that idea. They believe in supporting him and helping him, and they're always ready when he makes a move to make the difference. We'll prepare for that, of course. But he also admitted the brutal truth, saying, can we prepare for it? Find the perfect solution? Focus excessively on him? No. But we have to be brave, careful when dealing with him. Stop the support around him, and track all of his movements when he has the ball. Tuchel even said the way Messi leads this national team is absolutely astonishing. He called him simply a leader and the most important player in any team he plays for. Declan Rice went even further, explaining the actual game plan, saying the manager has been preparing us for this game for a long time. You don't get many chances to face a player like Lionel Messi. Tuchel keeps telling us you don't stop Messi by diving into tackles or trying to be a hero on your own. You stop him as a team. Every player has a responsibility. Stay compact, cut off passing lanes. Don't let him receive the ball facing goal. Make every decision as difficult as possible for him. Meanwhile, the English pundits have completely lost their minds with confidence. Joe Cole said Messi's first time playing against England, well, we're going to put him to sleep 100%. Troy Deeney said he thinks England will batter Argentina, winning at least 2-0 comfortably. John Terry said Argentina doesn't worry him at all, saying player for player, we're better than Argentina. Ian Wright said he thinks England will beat Argentina because of how narrow they play, saying we're going to block them and break them. Gary Neville looked at Argentina's centre-backs and said with the defenders, I can't see us not scoring at least 2 goals. We're faster, quicker. We've got a better squad. 5 legends, 5 different flavours of full-blown confidence, all of them convinced this is England's night. Argentina, meanwhile, are staying eerily calm about the whole thing. Scaloni told reporters, I don't care how tired we are. We're in a World Cup semi-final. A month and a half ago, I would have signed up for this without hesitation. We're incredibly excited, so it doesn't matter whether we're tired or not. The goal was to get here by any means necessary, and here we are. He even teased a tactical surprise, saying the team that will take the field tomorrow is the one I believe is the best. No player plays because of what they've done in the past, but because of what they're doing now. There could be a change with the idea of hurting the opponent. You'll find out tomorrow. I already have the starting lineup in my head. I just haven't told the players yet. They always hear it first. And Argentina's road here has not been easy either. This is a team that has needed extra time twice in the knockout rounds, survived a Cape Verde side that took them all the way, and pulled off arguably the greatest World Cup comeback in history against Egypt after going down 2-0 with 10 minutes left. Messi has missed 2 penalties this tournament, and it has not mattered once. This is a team built on chaos and belief in equal measure. And then there was the Switzerland quarterfinal, which honestly deserves its own breakdown. Argentina took an early lead, and everyone assumed it would be another routine knockout win. It was not. Dan Ndoye equalized after 67 minutes, and suddenly Argentina were staring down extra time for the second time in 3 knockout games. Then things got messy. Breel Embolo was shown a second yellow card for what looked like a dive, sent off, and the Swiss players lost their minds about it. Remo Freuler called the decision a disaster afterward. Their manager Murat Yakin chose his words carefully, saying, I wouldn't say Argentina are being favoured, but football didn't come out on top. We were punished by a referee mistake. But Switzerland were not exactly innocent either, because it was Julian Alvarez who settled this thing in extra time with an absolutely sublime curling strike from outside the box, one of the goals of the entire tournament, before Lautaro Martinez came off the bench and put it beyond doubt. Messi didn't even score in that one, which snapped his streak of scoring in 9 straight World Cup matches. Didn't matter. Argentina found a way anyway. That's basically been their whole tournament in one sentence. Here's something England need to be paying very close attention to tonight. Set pieces. Including penalties, no nation at this World Cup has scored more from dead ball situations than Argentina. 6 goals and counting. Messi is the chief taker on corners, and he loves targeting the near post to find a teammate glancing a header toward goal. Alexis McAllister's finish against Switzerland was the textbook example of exactly that routine, executed perfectly. England needs to win first contact on every single delivery tonight, or this game could be decided by a corner kick instead of open play. Now let's talk about the villain question, because every England-Argentina match needs one. It won't be Messi. You cannot cast an alien as a cartoon villain. Lisandro Martinez, nicknamed the Butcher, is a candidate. Christian Romero, an absolute agent of chaos, who is just as likely to score the winner as he is to flatten Bellingham with a reckless foul, is a candidate. But if this goes to penalties, there is only one man England fans need to worry about: Emiliano Martinez, the man who has turned goalkeeping into psychological warfare. He did it to France in the last World Cup final, and he will happily do it again tonight if given the chance. Insults, mind games, whatever it takes to get inside somebody's head before they even strike the ball. So here is where we land on this doubleheader. One final ticket already punched by Spain, who did not just beat France, they dismantled them in front of the entire planet. The second ticket gets decided tonight in Atlanta. 60 years of history, 5 confident English legends, 1 very calm Argentine coach, and the greatest player of all time standing in the way of everything England wants. Comment your score prediction right now and tell me honestly, do you believe Joe Cole and Troy Deeney, or do you think Messi is about to write one more chapter into this rivalry tonight? I'll see you after the final whistle with the reaction.